Hey, so excited to be here. We are the Beach Boss influencers, and joining me today or hanging out with me today is Carrie Hyam, one of the other beaches. Yay! Let's give it up for Carrie. So, I wanted to kind of just pick Carrie's brain. I'm going to ask her some questions here. So, Carrie, why don't you tell me or tell, whoever's watching, what inspired you to get started in your business?
Well, let's first back up to the very beginning because I was one of those people that had swore I would never do network marketing. Like I was the unsupportive spouse. I had seen people lose themselves in network marketing and through no faults of their own, and through the eyes of a child, I remember multiple times just being like, I am never doing one of those things. And then I got started when my husband was laid off for the second time. I feel like there was a turn of this chain of events that happened that caused to humble me a little bit. He was like, "You said you never do one of those things, but one of those things is what you need to do to completely change your life and impact people." Right? So God knew better. I got started in network marketing back in 2013. I guess, is when I first got started. I didn't actually end up enrolling until 2014 because I didn't have the money and I had to figure it out. And so I sold my kitchen cabinets. That's actually how I got started in network marketing. And when I got started in network marketing, I had this burning desire to create something for my family. I was sick and tired of being broke. I was tired of, going to the grocery store and having to when you go to the grocery store and you're looking at the slabs of meat and you're looking at the price tag and it's like 16.49 and you look and you see that one says 1601. So you put back the 16.49 and you grab the one that's marked 1601 just because you want to save 50 cents. That's where I was at in my life, and I
Totally.
had always felt like I was meant for more, and so when I saw network marketing, even though I wasn't excited about it, I figured it could be a vehicle, right? A good vehicle to create the life of freedom that I wanted for my family, and that is not how it went down. I got started thinking, "Oh, I'm going to, you know, shoot to the top of my company and I'm going to be there in a year and I'm going to be, I'm going to have the car, I'm going to have the rank, I'm going to have all this money." And how many of you maybe watching this interview or listening right now, that was you thought that you were going to get in, it was going to be easy. You were told just find two people and they'll go find two people and then they'll go find their two people. And how many of you actually ended up with a team and a downline of thousands just from two finding two, finding two, finding two? I very quickly realized that I sucked at this business because it was 6 months in, I had recruited 0 people, no customers, no distributors, and but I still had that desire. I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna go to my upline," and I went to my upline and I was like, "Mr. Upline, this isn't working. What do I need to do to, be successful?" And he's like, "Well, you're not doing anything wrong. You're just not talking to the right people. You need to go where the people are." So I come from a really teeny town in the middle of Utah. I like to tell people there's more cows here than people because there absolutely is more cows than people. And Adrian's been to my house. She knows, you drive
It's true. It's a true story.
the middle of nowhere I live. And I'm sorry, but I mean, maybe if I had started enrolling cows, I would have done a lot better in the very beginning. But I figured I had to go where the people were. And so that started my journey of traveling to find people. And when you want something so bad, you want something so bad. I think back to when I wanted my very first bicycle and I was willing to do anything to get it. It was the prettiest bike I'd ever seen. And I went to my parents and I was like, "I want this bike." And they were like, "Well, how can you earn this bike?" And mind you, I didn't even know how to ride a bike when I looked at this bike. And so I very persuasively talked my parents into, if I learn how to ride a bike, you'll buy me this bike. And they were like, okay, because I was 8 years old and I still didn't know how to ride a bike. So they're like, if you go and you ride this bike, we will get you this bike for your birthday. And I did it, right? Like I wanted it so bad. I finally had the desire to do it. So when I was willing to do whatever it took. I was leaving my kids with a babysitter or a nanny or grandma or whoever I could, and I was driving all over the western half of the United States pretty much. There isn't a Walmart, Starbucks, um, shopping mall within hundreds of miles from me that hasn't seen my face. And I got really good at talking to people, but I couldn't get anybody to cross the finish line. And I mean, people, if you're listening, you are probably in the same spot, right? You're like, I'm talking to everybody. I'm talking to all my friends. I'm talking to all my family. I'm bugging my friends and family at this point. I have people dodging me in the grocery store. How many of you are there? I remember that first time I had a good friend of mine make eye contact with me in the grocery store and flip and turn around because she was afraid I was going to prospect me for her thing. And it sucks, right? It sucks when you're in that situation. It sucks when you want something so bad and you can't figure it out. Like you can't figure out how to make it go for you. You see all these people, rank advancing and crossing the stage. You're going to your company event and, you're the same rank that you were at the last 3 events. And you're thinking, what's wrong with me? Why can't I figure this out? That's exactly where I was at, and so after 2 years of growing my business, watching my kids grow up through my cell phone, right? Because I couldn't bring my kids to Vegas to sleep in my car because I couldn't afford a hotel room. That wasn't safe for them, right? It wasn't safe for me, but I was willing to do it because I saw the vision. And that's when I knew that I had to do something different, and when it all changed for me, I was sitting at my company event and I had been doing the thing, been doing the do forever. I was so tired. I had looked at my husband multiple times and I was like, I don't think we can keep doing this, right? Like I can't keep leaving my children. So I'm sitting there and I'm at my company event and this gal gets up on stage and they're recognizing her for putting over 100,000 points of volume into her business in 19 days. You guys, I had, like, 9 points. So it's like, "What the heck is she doing?" And you know how when you have that moment when you know that you've been doing everything wrong, right? You know that there's a secret or there's something that people haven't shared with you. That's where I was at, and I was like, "I'm gonna figure out what that girl is doing." And it was in this process of I mean, I guess you could call it stalking. Like I was all over her social media. I was into her website. I saw that she was actually growing completely different than what my upline was saying. And I went to my upline and I was like, I want to grow my business this way, the way that this girl is doing. And he told me that it would never work. Even though this girl had 100,000 points of volume in her business in 19 days, he was still convinced it wouldn't work because he hadn't done it himself. And I was like, "Well, I'm gonna show you," right? And so it how you're able to do this, how you're able to put this massive amount of volume in your business in a short period of time. What's really great about it is it's a 3-step, anyone can duplicate it formula that we've broken down, made it really easy to understand. And it took years of trial and error, not just from me, but from Adrian, from Brandy, Kat, Fran, all the other beaches. It took years of trial, testing, figuring out what works, what doesn't, and really putting this into a pretty package for people that are going to be joining us inside the Fire Your Upline Challenge. It's going to be like fire. Fire Your Upline is gonna be fire. I'm so excited for it. But Adrian, I'd love to know, like, how did you get started? Like, what was kind of what was it for you that gave you that, like, "I gotta figure out something different?"
Yeah, because to be honest, I never in a million years would have, like, found myself in the network marketing space, and, you know I often say I was birthed into network marketing, and I'll tell you how. But before I got in, like, what actually had me looking for something else, because like I said, I didn't know it was network marketing when I got in. Um, I was, you know, at a point in my career where, gosh, I was a high school teacher, assistant principal, like head coach of volleyball. I just was so immersed in that life. Not that it was bad. I loved the students. I loved, what I was doing, but I just felt very burnt out, and I felt like my life had more purpose than get up and go to work and pay someone else, a couple $1,000s to raise my kids and then be so exhausted on the weekends that I don't even spend it living life, right? So, I'm online seeing, high school, also friend athlete, who went on and played collegiately like I did, start posting about whatever she was doing. And all I saw was that she started this thing, and a couple months later, literally like 2, she had earned the company Lexus. And I am like, if this girl can do it, I can do it. I messaged her. I was like, what are you into? How does this thing work? And I signed up on like in like 2015 on Christmas Eve. I know, New Year's Eve, because the price was gonna double the next day to enroll. And it's like, I had no idea, but I saw what she did, and I that gave me belief that, like, whatever she's doing, I could do. And I eventually start to think, because I always think like bigger and big picture and what could this be for you? And, just all the things. I'm that grander, goals person. And I am like, this could mean maybe like I could work part time, or we could do these trips in the summer, and it just meant so much freedom. And so I jumped in, and again, I went again. She just sent me the stuff, and next thing you know, it's like you're birthed down the chute out into network marketing, and I had no idea. And how this company builds their business is, it's like fast start launch. Like, you have people just like messaging you like, okay, let's have our fast start game plan. Like, it was just very overwhelming and outside my comfort zone, but I like knew I wanted to do it, but I also had like this pit and, this feeling in the pit of my stomach of like fear, fear of like, oh my gosh, now you're making me put calendar dates down on committing to a home party, and then now I have to invite people. It was just really uncomfortable for me. Like, I was hoping I could build this thing without telling people about it on social media. you know like like secret parties or whatever. But
How
anyways,
many
I
people feel
was
that way? They're not told, "Oh,
yeah,
you're gonna have to do all of this," right?
exactly. Like, how many of you had no idea that when you got started, you were walking into like this lion's den, and it was like vultures, where it's like, when are you going to get started? How many people are you inviting? What's your dates? Like, who can we call? Can we come down and help you? Like, how many of you got started and were kind of like, whoa, right?
I
Like,
just wanted to get my products for free.
yeah, I just want my products for free. Right. And now I'm propelled like,
Mhm.
the bow and arrow, and shot into this full blown business world. Right. And so all of a sudden, like, you know, all these emotions start coming up, and how am I actually going to do this? And as I'm like this, I was a great athlete. I was a great student. Like, a coach tells me, you go do this and this is going to happen. I'm going to go do it. So I did what they told me, after it took a lot of time for me to actually book those parties, whatever. I did those things, and I did not get the results of like, that I thought I was getting. And I started to, I'd get on team calls, and in your, your Facebook Messenger chats or on your team page, like, all these people are blowing it up every single day. And I'm over here questioning, like, what am I doing wrong? I'm outgoing. I did the party. Not a lot of people came. Maybe I need more parties, right? Like, you just start like, what is it? What's that secret thing that people are doing that they're not telling me about, right? So So then fast forward to kind of me showing up every day in my business, going through this emotional roller coaster of like, oh, you get excited because you get a customer here and there. And then, oh my gosh, a team member, right? And then, you start to see, okay, I earned my products for free, right? You're kind of seeing, but then it's nothing big to write home about. So, and let me know, like, have you ever kind of felt the same way, like building your business? Like, I'm taking this action, but the results aren't answering like what they're telling me, right? Like what I think what Carrie said. All they said was you just have to find two and help them find two. And now you're going to be a six-figure earner. So I'm sitting there. I had built my business up enough to win an incentive trip. So my husband and I fully immersed in this, hanging out with leaders, all the things. And at the end of this trip, I'm sitting in the airport when I should be freaking excited because they just rolled out this new promotion. They got everybody excited. And I'm sitting here going like, I have no more time. I have no more energy left in me. Like I have just burned the candle at both ends. I put everything in this business to win this trip. That does not mean I had a paycheck at the end of the day. That was massive. Okay. Yeah, I got the trip, but the bank account wasn't growing. Right. And then customers are falling off, team members are falling off. And I am just like, I am exhausted. I'm exhausted. Do I think this industry is great? Do I think it's a vehicle that's going to get me there? Yes, but I have got to find a better way. And so I was sitting in the airport and, stumbled across, what is this? How are these people building online? And I'm like, okay, I want to dive into that a little bit deeper because what do they know that I don't know? Right. And
Mhm.
so I started to implement some of the things that I was learning about what they were doing online, and within 11 months of implementing that had built a six-figure business. And it was just like mind-blowing, incredible. Like, how when you say, how many of you have like been in sports before, or you're starting a new diet, you're starting a new fitness journey, right? Something new, but you have this goal, right? You have this goal that I'm going to get here, and you finally like make that goal, whether it is you want to have this perfect game, whether it is you hit 15 pounds in your journey, right? So that feeling of accomplishment of like, I can't believe this actually happened, but the way that it happened, with more time back in your life, getting faster results, having more time to spend with your family and friends, and without ever having to have another home party or going and bugging friends and family about your business. So, I mean, and we're going to share that all with you. But it is a
Yes.
process called the 3-step. Anyone can duplicate this formula. And you guys, we could not be more fired up to share this thing with you because I don't know about you, but we want to go fast and we want to help you go fast. So if you want to go fast, come hang out with us.
Yeah,
But,
and
I
it
guess, Carrie, you know, let me ask you because we work with a lot of students inside of our community and outside. So I guess I'm going to ask, like, what do you think in network marketing? Like, what do you think holds people back?
well, I mean, people are gonna say, "Oh, I don't have the money," or, "Oh, I don't have the time," but really, it's deeper than that, right? It's always deeper than that. When you think about, a person and when they what usually is holding them back is themselves. It's the 6 inches between their ears that will always stand in their way, whether it be, fear of failing. Like, nobody loves the feeling of saying, "I failed." Right? How many of you listening or watching right now are like, "Oh, yeah, I love to fail," right? Nobody. Nobody is gonna answer that way. Nobody wants to feel like a failure, like they're doing everything that they feel like they're supposed to do, and it doesn't work out in the end. Other people, it's success. They're like, "But if I'm successful and I'm making money, like, then what? Oh, people will know that I'm making money. Oh, then I'm responsible for people," right? That's the biggest thing in network marketing when it comes to success is they're like, "Wait, I now have to be a leader and people are now relying on me and what I can be, like, who am I? Right? Imposter syndrome sets in where they're like, "Well, who am I to grow a business? Who am I to ask for more?" And I'm telling you right now, your creator is saying, "Why not?" Right? He's saying, "Why not you?" And I heard a really cool, it was because I had these same feelings, right? I had these same feelings when I was in network marketing, when I was starting to figure out this formula that we're gonna be talking about in the challenge, and I had all of these feelings going through my head because and going through my entire body, really, because it was like, "What if I fail? Well, then what if I succeed? Well, who am I to ask for this?" And I heard a quote, and it said, "God doesn't call the qualified, he qualifies the called." And when I
Ooh,
heard that, I was like, "Whoa."
yeah.
Right? Like, "Why not me? Why not me? I'm a good person. I know I'm gonna do great things with money. I know he wants to bless me, so why not me?" And that hearing that one thing, God doesn't call the qualified, God qualifies the called. That was when I was li it was like all of a sudden that internal struggle that I had when it came to being successful and making more money than anybody, in my family, and, that internal tug of war that I was feeling suddenly vanished. And I was like, "Why not me?"
Oh, good. So
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, and what
How
about
many of
you? What do
you
you feel?
Oh,
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
oh,
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, how many of you, who watching this can totally relate to what Carrie said, right? How many of you have been there, maybe you've had the same thoughts, right? Some of those fears. 'Cause I'll tell you, I did, right? And there was that fear of failure for me because, when I got started in this, I had so many people tell me it's never gonna work out, and you're in one of those, and, like, almost to be embarrassed to be in it, and they've seen so many people that tried it and it never worked, and so when I wasn't getting the traction after putting in the effort for 3 years, following every to the T, I had that fear of what if they're all right? Like, have any of you ever felt that as well? Like, what if they're really right that I'm gonna fail at this? What if they're really right that this whole thing is a facade and it's fake and it only happens to a handful of people? Like, what if it's true? And then I'm like, I used that to fuel me to continue going, to finding a way to make it work. And I'm so glad that I did. But I think another thing that came in for myself, and I think also what holds other people back along that is when you're building your business on social media, it's that fear of judgment from what
Mm,
other people are thinking. And I
absolutely.
allowed that to hold me back from taking action in my business on social media, from going live, from putting my face out there, right? From like actually promoting stuff that wasn't a before and after photo. So, I mean, so how many of you, have also felt that way? Like, what will people think? Maybe I'm not,
Mhm.
maybe you're thinking I'm not well spoken on video. I'm not pretty enough. Like I'm know who's going to listen to me, who would follow me. I have a boring life. I don't do anything exciting, right? These are just all the things that so how many of you
Mhm.
have those same thoughts, right? When it
And I
comes to showing up.
and what if there was a place that you could break through all of this internal struggle in as little as 5 days? Because we
Mm.
have 5-day challenge, Fire Your Upline challenge, and we're gonna be helping you. You're gonna have not just Adrian and I, but we're also gonna have all 5 beaches that you're going to be learning from, and one of the biggest pieces of this entire challenge is helping you break through every single internal hurdle, roadblock, whatever might be standing in your way specifically, and, like, propelling you, like 10xing your business as fast as possible. Like, that's what this is about, because when it comes to firing your upline, I mean, your upline, I'm sure they're great people. They're great people, but there comes a point in time where if you want to be successful in this industry, you have to become the upline. You have to
Become
be.
the upline.
Become the upline, like, say, "Become the upline," right? I wanna be the upline, because when you're the upline, that's when you're making money, that's when you're impacting people's lives, and so, you know, when it comes to building a business, there's also tactical stuff, right? Like, when you look at, it's not just internal things that holds people back. So what are some other things that we know as as network marketers, Adrian, that hold a lot of people back that we're going to be helping them completely, like, move through during this challenge?
Yes, I think that, I know another thing that, people really struggle with is like, how do I find the right people? Okay, like, okay, all right, you're telling me here, or I've already gone through the 100 names, right? I've been through all the people, I've burned through the list, right? So it's like, well, where are those people? How do you actually find people who want your product and are
Mhm,
also super fired up, hungry, and excited to jump on board of your team and crush the business with you, right? Because everyone's like, man, I see these people, they got all these leaders, but where do they find them?
mhm.
Or this team is fire, but I'm over here and only I can get a customer, but they don't stay around long enough. So, you know, and I'm super excited because we are gonna be breaking this down. And y'all, 5 days, okay? 5 days with not just one beach or one, leader in this space who have used these strategies to crush their business, but 5 5 of us. So that's definitely something that we're going to be breaking down over the next 5 days. And again, this is never been trained on before. We are so excited to
Mm,
be coming to you live every single day with our Fire Your Upline challenge. Oh my gosh. So,
yes.
uh if you haven't already yet, okay? Get your VIP ticket, right? If you
Yes.
get this VIP ticket or when you get this VIP ticket, you're going to get an invite to join us inside on a private Zoom. Yes, that just means you're not just showing up watching in the group. You are coming and hanging out with us beaches. Okay, we're going to be able to.
The ability to ask questions based on your specific business as a VIP, which is fire sauce in itself.
Yes, and it's gonna be so awesome. So, we want you to, below this video or where you're seeing this, click down below, grab your VIP ticket, okay? Come hang out with us.
Yes.
You get extra time outside of general admission, okay, with us, where we're gonna share all the goods on how you can go faster in your business, how you can leverage things that give you time back, right? So
Mhm.
you want to go faster.
Automation.
Yeah,
Automation.
automation. We're just going to
Automation,
yell it right
baby.
now because it's a life changer, y'all. It's
Yeah.
a life changer. Okay. And it's going to make your life simpler. It's going to give you your results faster. And you're just going to have to find out because it is crazy sauce. Anyways, get there, get your VIP ticket, come hang out with us. We cannot wait, and we will see you inside.
See you at the challenge.